Non-feminine women
like a man
become leftover women.
Penniless, forgotten, and insane.
Easily. And men don't want tough women. Well, not all of us, do we? Yes, I know, very simple title, very, very simple. But it's a simple and obvious point. It's how much a woman does lose in becoming so much. Then how much as men we're no longer attracted to her because of what she's become. And what she's lost, it's ironic, is what makes women women. Their femininity.
It's a lost art.
I was in my late 20s and I was totally single. And I remember like having this wrestling in my mind of like, okay, like, am I single because this is like my own fault and I'm just like literally hiding away and I'm not really like taking care of myself and guys just aren't interested? Or am I single because this is just the Lord's will for me? You know, that balance of like, there are things we can do to be a more attractive choice and a better option, and someone that a guy would look at and say, hey, I want that girl. And we can do things that are like, well, maybe I'm going to go to the next singles group, you know?
Okay, for context, these lovely women are Christian women giving advice to women who call in, write in, basically women who ask, why am I still single? Why don't men approach me? Why do men avoid me? Why do men ghost me? Basically, women in their late 20s, 30s, 40s who are struggling to snare a man. Attention they can get, of course. Yeah, of course, a man's always going to give her attention for something. But these women are looking for marriage, but that's, it's not really on the table for them.
I am the table.
Bullshit.
And I'm going to cut to the point I want to use in a bit. But before we continue, I hope you're focused and on your square. It's difficult to have points as a man, because sadly, in talking about what you actually like and want, people will always see it as toxic, won't they?
Well, it's a matter of principle.
But as graciously as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think there's different categories of, you know, singleness and wanting to get asked out. I know even within our membership, we have a lot of women who are like, I'm single, I want to get married. And again, we're not God, we don't know everything about your circumstance. But okay, so I was having a conversation with a single woman. She desperately wants to be in a relationship. She really wants to get married. And honestly, guys just don't really ask her out. But she's around a lot of single guys. And there are a few other girls in the group that seem to get asked out quite a bit. And they haven't really made it past like a few dates with a guy. They're like, the attraction isn't there long term, even though they're both like godly people. But it's like, she keeps wondering, why do these girls get asked out and I don't really get asked out?
It's a good point.
Guys just don't really ask girl.
Why do they and not her? What aura is she putting out to put men off and turn men off, have them running?
So I was like, you just want to have an honest conversation about this? Because I think I can point out some things that are just like, not that attractive. And she was like, okay, let's talk about them, you know, and it's hard. And so basically with her, we were talking about the fact that in some ways, it's almost like she is hiding behind this facade. Like she really wants to be asked out, but she's afraid to actually show like her true feminine, womanly self, if that makes sense. So she kind of treats guys like buddies.
She treats guys like buddies because she's afraid to show her true feminine self.
Guys just don't really ask girl.
Then these guys reject her, avoid her, ghost her.
Damn right.
Now you see, as men, this point is obvious to us. We're men. We know this. When we come across a woman who's just too tough. And acting like a dude or too chewy, and that's not what we want from a chick, it's like, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. You don't seem warm and welcoming enough, like, no, I'm good. But notice, again, like my previous video, when women have to inform other women, look sis, you are a bit too tough, a bit too chewy. Men don't really want that. Notice how interesting and hesitant these women are. Yeah, I swear. I swear, this is my own personal thrill I'm getting off it, because I've noticed it so much. When we as men make these points, we'll make them bluntly. People will see the points as toxic. But women themselves have to make the points to women to give them advice, real advice.
Bingo.
To let her know, yo, woman, look, I know you don't want to hear it, but you need to loosen up a bit. You turn men off. You act too manly. But when men say it's toxic, but obviously, you know, these girly pops will explain it better to women, won't they?
So she's every guy's friend, but she's not really like, ooh, an attractive feminine, like that polarity, that opposite. It's kind of like, well, you're kind of like a buddy. You're kind of like a guy friend almost. And I'm not looking for a guy friend. I'm looking for a potential wife. I'm looking for someone that I can have that romance with, that attraction with. I mean, isn't that what we all want, you know? And so I was telling her, I'm like, I know it's hard and it's scary to actually embrace like the fact that you're a woman, the fact that God made you that way. That's so attractive. And
I know I shouldn't laugh, but this is why we have so many femininity content creators, so many women who create feminine teaching content for women. Because so many women nowadays have advanced so much. Yeah, they've advanced, become strong and independent, and in a way abandoned so much of their femininity to the point where they can't even get a man. Thus, you have hordes of women who are having to retrain and reteach women just how to be women and remind them, you're a woman, you're a woman.
The fact that you're a woman.
What is my purpose?
You're a woman.
I swear, it's odd. It's odd. And then they act like as men, we're the ones that are complaining about nothing when it's like, no.
You're a woman.
There are good points men are making because we see women are acting like this. We notice it. It's unattractive for us. Yeah? So see how these women have to break it down, let them know like, yo, woman, easy. You're a bit too tough. You're a dude, sis. All right? You've got your life together, but damn.
You're a woman.
A man doesn't see a reason he should get together with you.
Beautiful. And you don't have to be all weird and like over sexual about it, but you're comfortable as a woman. You're comfortable with the fact that you're not that masculine, that you are that feminine, and you're comfortable to act in that way. And that is so attractive and beautiful and something that God designed men and women to be drawn.
Now, as a man, I know that's attractive and beautiful because I'm a man and I'm drawn to it.
This is drugs.
For women to have to be told
You're a woman.
that your femininity is attractive and beautiful is weird. Does no one else notice it?
Toward, I mean, that sexual attraction really is what pulls people toward marriage, you know? Right. And if you are afraid to be that woman and to be it's kind of like growing up. It's kind of like saying, hey, I'm not a kid anymore. Like I am a woman and I am not going to try to hide that fact. I'm not going to try to like dress overly baggy to try to hide the fact that I'm a woman. I'm not going to carry myself like one of your guy buddies. You know, I'm not going to present myself that way because, I'm not going to hide behind this facade. I'm actually going to celebrate the fact that God made me a woman and I'm going to treat you like a man. Yeah. I'm not going to treat you like a buddy.
Lovely women. Obviously, they understand it because they're dealing with women constantly and they have to be realistic with them. But you see, this is the point. And I'm not even saying it to be rude. It's just an obvious fact. A lot of women are going to be leftover women because they can't do what these women are trying to tell women to do.
Why?
They can't just be feminine. Because of that, a lot of women are going to end up manless, husbandless, childless. And I'm only talking about women who actually want that, but they can't seem to find it. Men are avoiding them. Because aside from women just being a bit too tough, a lot of men are choosing to have their own lives nowadays. A lot of men have given up on trying to find a woman themselves. So a lot of women are struggling in a smaller pool of men who actually want a marriage and something serious. So a lot of women are learning they're going to have to be really feminine to find a man who actually wants to find a wife.
I'm so lonely.
Because they're competing with a lot of women in a very small pool. Very, very small pool. There's a saying women have that there are more good women than there are good men. And at first I thought, And I thought, okay, but if that is true, that only adds to the fact, well, a lot of women are going to be leftover women because the few good, decent men have slightly more decent women to choose from if and when they want to get married. I'm just saying.
And the girls that I see that are getting asked out more really embody that in a beautiful way. Like they've really become comfortable with the femininity that God has given them. Yeah. And I think the guys are just honestly attracted to that and they're comfortable
because it's natural.
Going out on dates and they're comfortable saying, okay, like I would love to get to know you for one date. They just carry themselves like women. It's hard to describe. And so with this particular young lady, that's something that we've actually been working on is her becoming comfortable as a woman. And I see this out there in Christians.
You know, you hear what they're saying, don't you?
Comfortable as a woman.
Being comfortable as a woman. And it's like, this is what men have been dealing with for a very long time now. Women just not being comfortable as just being a woman. Like, woman, I'm not even trying to make you into a slave. You're a woman.
Woman.
I want you to be a woman. Damn.
Circles where I look and I'm like, there are a few girls who, and it's not like they're the drop dead knockout, like you have to be like some like supermodel. It's just the way that you carry your body as a woman, the way your smile, you're just like, you know that you're a woman, you know you are feminine, you're different from a man, and you're okay with it. And so it's kind of like coming to that reckoning with yourself and not being ashamed of that fact. I think sometimes we can become ashamed of our sexuality. If you dig into our book, Sex, Purity, and the Longings of a Girl's Heart, which would be an amazing place to start, that really helps you unpack God's design for your sexuality and how it's a good and beautiful thing and how to embrace it rightly. So if you're like, even thinking about my sexuality as a single woman makes me uncomfortable. Like, no, you're a sexual being as a single woman and a married woman.
Yeah, I get it. These women are talking about, women who may be Christian women, but men are still men. Even Christian men are still men. Yeah? Yeah, they're looking at a wife. But they're looking at a wife that they can do as well and they want to do. Come on, let's not be coy about it. Come on, let's stop the coy BS. We're grown people, yeah? So if a woman isn't radiating sexual aura, even if she's religious, it's like, yeah, woman, you still have to radiate that as well. That is part of you being a woman. That is part of what draws men in. For as dogged as you want to say it is, our men want to smash. Yes, even Christian men want to smash, even if it's just their wife. Want to get married and smash just my wife. Okay, even so, they're still men. They still want to smash. The sexual aura in a woman is very overwhelming and powerful for men.
Woman.
So women should never lose that either.
There are ways to act on that and live that in line with God's design, but you don't need to hide the fact that you are a sexual being. And I think especially if you grew up in like a conservative Christian circle, this might be a struggle for you. So really digging in and understanding God's good design for you in this area, and then being comfortable and saying like, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I'm a woman. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I am different from a man. This is a good thing. I think that one, you'll notice a lot more freedom in your life because you're not going to be hiding. And there might be a sense of attraction that you and a guy might feel just kind of naturally in the way God designed that chemistry and stuff in a way that you haven't experienced before.
You know, it's simple and sad that a lot of women don't understand that they can't find the men that they want because they turn off the men that they want, because they lack what men want. Yeah? Have a nice day.
Comfortable as a woman.